Good evening. Thank you for joining us at the T.G. Howard Community Outreach segment. I am Ashely Edmonds, and this evening I am here with Mr. Howard McCready, or Andy McCready, as we all know you as. Mr. McCready, if you would give us some more information about the position that you're seeking with Pulaski County, and tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, thank you very much, Ashley, and thank everyone from the T.G. Howard Center and also the Calfee School for helping to put this on. I am Andy McCready. I'm running for re-election to the Pulaski County Board of Supervisors. I have been on the board for 8 years. I served 4 years as a member, and the last 4 years I've served as chairman. Going back into a little bit about me, I moved into Pulaski County in 1986, and we selected Pulaski County as a place that we felt was the very best to locate our business. My wife Karen and I have been married for 35 years, and we have done a number of things over the years. At one time, we actually served as foster parents to help some of our kids here in Pulaski County. So we've been in Pulaski County quite a number of years. Just briefly, education. I have a degree from Danville Community College in electronics, a degree from Old Dominion University as an electrical engineer, and lastly, a business management degree from New River Community College. All of those, I'm happy to say, I achieved with honors or high honors. I have been a volunteer fireman here in Pulaski County for 21 years. I've been an EMT for about 15 years. I'm a businessman here in Pulaski. I own 2 businesses. The first business that brought us to Pulaski was McCready Lumber Company. Most people don't have an idea that McCready Lumber is even here in Pulaski, which is fine, because we don't sell retail, we don't sell to contractors. We manufacture a very high grade of lumber that is used by a lot of our Amish and Mennonite clients to make outdoor furniture and gazebos. So most people don't even know we've been here. We have a second business called Werno Warehouses, and that business rents out warehouse and manufacturing space to a number of different clients here that need space for their operation. For fun, and that's the way I look at it, for fun, I referee high school football down through rec football. I really enjoy being out there with the kids. The kids are wonderful. And then I also, in the springtime, springtime through the summer, I will do baseball, high school baseball, travel baseball. I've been fortunate to do a number of regional playoff games in baseball. Really enjoy doing that. It's people sometimes think baseball is a slow game to watch. If you realize all the different potential plays that are on at any one time, you will realize how exciting it really is. And I just love doing both of those sports. I'm around the kids. Most of them are just super good to do business and be around with. I've been very blessed. I've made Pulaski County my home since 1986, some 33 years now. And Pulaski County is just a fabulous place to live, work, do business, play, retire, whatever you want to say. This is a great place to be. And that really drove part of my desire to be a member of the Board of Supervisors. Over the years, I have served in a number of different positions because I've asked the Board of Supervisors, where can I be helpful? And I've been on the Community Services Board, which handles mental health, mental retardation, substance abuse issues. I've served as the Board of Zoning Appeals. Matter of fact, I served as the chairman of the Board of Zoning Appeals. And little known fact, when you have a zoning dispute in Pulaski and you cannot resolve it through all the other means, you have to go through the Board of Zoning Appeals. And then if they don't give you the satisfaction that you want, you sue the chairman of the Board of Zoning Appeals. So I am one of probably the most sued public part-time people you've ever seen as being a member of the Board of Zoning Appeals for that long. And first time it happened, it was kind of scary, but after that, you know, it was pretty routine. And we don't have those cases nearly as much as we used to. But I want to go back on the Board of Supervisors. We've had a wonderful 8-year run. We have really worked to change the tone and philosophy here in Pulaski County. We want Pulaski County to be that great place to live and work every day. We have worked hard on economic development, and our hope is with economic development, then that brings us other things. We've seen a number of areas growing. We have at least 2, possibly 3 large subdivisions that are planned in our county because we need to stabilize our population. We continue to lose population, but more importantly, we're losing school kids out of the school system, which costs the taxpayers more money.
Right, you're absolutely right. You had mentioned a little earlier about being a referee.
Yes.
And so I wanted to ask you if you had any stories, any interesting tales from being a referee.
Well, it's certainly there's certainly some funny things that happen on the field sometimes. Over the years, when we go out to the coin toss, if I'm not too pressed to get the coin toss done, I carry a Kennedy 50-cent piece with me to do the coin toss. And when the captains are out there, we show them the head and the tail so they know it's not a two-headed or two-tailed coin. And then I will ask the captains a lot of times, who is this gentleman on this 50-cent piece? Most of the time I'll get John F. Kennedy. And then I'll go between the 2 teams there. Okay, what happened to John F. Kennedy? What year did it happen? Where did it happen? What was noteworthy about that? And the youngsters that have played rec football here in the Pulaski County system over the years, they know the answers to those questions. But it is funny sometimes. I've done a high school game between 2 high school teams, and nobody standing there knew the picture of that president. So it's just a little piece of history, and it kind of lightens the mood when you're out on the coin toss because sometimes everybody's all so serious, and we're out there to play a game, have a good time.
Sounds great. What do you envision your elected, and I think you've talked a little bit about this, but what do you envision your elected role's purpose to be and its impact on Pulaski County?
I think there's a couple of roles that the Board of Supervisors has to play. We have to have a plan. We have to have a plan on where we want to move the county. It's too easy to coast along. And if we're not moving forward, you're falling back. So we made a decision 7 or 8 years ago when I came on the board with Mr. Odell and Mr. Bopp that we wanted to move this county forward. We want to improve our image. And unfortunately, most of the time, sometimes you hear when people are really giving Pulaski a hard time, it's the people that have lived here a long time. And so we wanted to make a change there. And we decided then that to do that, we had to really work on our economic development and making sure that when you come to Pulaski County to do business, whether that is get a building permit, a zoning permit, we wanted to make sure that you were treated well by a well-trained staff and an enthusiastic staff. And so we have worked to make sure that we have surrounded ourselves with a great county administrator and great people in all those other roles. So it wasn't an overnight thing by any stretch. It takes years to be able to accomplish this. But that is what we have done. And I think it's important that we continue on that progress. As I've said before, no one is going to be out there with a cape to come save us. We have to save ourselves. If you want a better community, we've got to do it ourselves. There's no federal grant program out there to come fix things up. We've got to do it ourselves. So let's roll up our sleeves and let's go to work. And that's what we've been committed to doing.
Absolutely.
So it's budget planning, balance. You know, we have many folks that would like to see us do more in one area, like to see us do more in another area. But pick any issue, and there's people on both sides. There are needs in all areas, and we only have so much money to go around. Some of the funding that we do is dictated by the state. We don't have a choice about it.
Right.
So we have to try to make a difference with that other marginal area. And that's what we've really been working on. Now, fortunately, with a growing economy, we have more money coming in. We have, one of the things that I foresee is with more money coming in, we'll be able to take care of our needs. You know, take care of our building needs, take care of our school needs, and I believe move to a lower tax structure. We have a number of citizens here in Pulaski that live on a limited income. We got to think about those folks.
That's right.
We've got to think about those folks that are struggling to pay their medicines, to pay their light bill, and stay in the home that they've lived in 30 or 40 years. Got to take care of those people.
Absolutely. I would absolutely agree. As I know you're aware, there has been a grassroots movement to kind of increase historical awareness and cultural awareness. There are some different groups. There is, of course, the Calfee Training School project, which you mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's a project, of course, one to address some of our child care needs, as Pulaski County's been identified as a child care desert. Another issue, something else that they're working on as well is, of course, to preserve, you know, the historical references of the Calfee Training School.
Mm-hmm.
Then there is the Adair Theater, who was started by a local Pulaski County native, and that organization works to not only provide entertainment opportunities, but also they do outreach with children
Mm-hmm.
and camps and things like that to bring art into the community. And then lastly, our organization, the T.G. Howard Community Center, and not sure if you're aware of this, but the T.G. Howard Community Center was started back in 1965. It was at the time a need that the community saw that to provide recreational opportunities for African Americans who didn't have that opportunity, because at that time it was separate but equal facilities. So, and at that facility, it was a facility where they had, you know, dances, pageants, ballet classes, different opportunities for children and adults. And so we're trying to bring that back, but we also are trying to do things to enlighten, inform our citizens, and that's why we're doing the community forums. So my question for you would be, how would you, and it doesn't necessarily have to be with one of these organizations, but you know probably better than anyone what some of the Pulaski County societal ills may be. What is it that you would want to do, not only as a Board of Supervisor member, but as a private citizen, to address some of those issues and to support these organizations?
I think the Calfee Training School project and T.G. Howard comes along at a great time because those facilities were open for a number of years and then they closed. And we need to capture and save those facilities while there are still people here that remember going to them and remember utilizing them and remember what they meant to them. That is a part of our history that needs to be preserved. You know, when I think back to the 60s, you know, I was a young fella, really young fella, and I remember Martin Luther King's assassination. I remember Bobby Kennedy's assassination, but I was 7 or 8 years old, so it didn't strike the meaning because I was too young to understand. Now those things have a lot more historical perspective, and we need to get those folks involved and give them an opportunity to have their story told as to what went on in our community, why it was so important that these centers were here. We need to capture that before we lose those people as they get older. You know, and I think one other thing that we need to talk about is sometimes folks think that, well, unless I run for the Board of Supervisors, there's not an opportunity for me to serve our community.
Right.
We really need to wipe away that misconception. because the Board of Supervisors appoints literally well over 100 or more people to various boards that we need community citizens to be engaged in. So the way you start that process is you reach out to the clerk of the Board of Supervisors, or you reach out to a Board of Supervisor member and say, I'm interested in serving my community. What might I be able to do? Then you might get a series of questions. What have you done? What things interest you? I mean, we have positions from the library board to the Clean Community Council to Big Brothers Big Sisters. Big Brothers Big Sisters is one of the areas that the county sets aside about $30,000 a year to help fund Big Brothers Big Sisters right here in our community, because we have so many children that do not have an adequate role model in their life. So the Big Brothers Big Sisters give those folks an opportunity to help a child one day a week. And I know that we do not have enough leaders now to join that. So if you're interested, if you think you can make a difference in a child's life, then that might be something to think about. There's other boards that you could possibly serve on. There are needs throughout our community, and I think part of the message needs to be, you need to ask yourself, can you join, can you make a difference in this community? And if so, then reach out and try to serve, because your community needs you, because there's plenty of work to be done.
Yes.
And there are plenty of folks that need a helping hand. There's plenty of folks, young folks, that could stand the steady leadership that a gentleman or a young lady could bring to a child's life. Those are all possibilities. We're going to continue to work all of those avenues. I just close by saying, one of the famous quotes of John F. Kennedy was, "A rising tide lifts all boats." And that is never more true here in Pulaski County. All of us working together can bring our community to a higher level and more prosperous level. It's up to all of us to work together and accomplish that.
Yes. Well, that was a great comment to end on, but I also want to give you this one last opportunity. If there's anything else that you'd like to share with our audience, I'm going to give you that opportunity to do so right
Well, I
now.
appreciate that. I certainly enjoyed being down here today to chat with y'all a few minutes. If you'd like to reach out to contact me, you can certainly reach out at my county email, which is amc@pulaskicounty.org. You can give me a call at my office, which is 980-8700, and I'll be happy to talk to you. So there's opportunities. Your community stands to wait, and I hope that the leadership that I brought together with my fellow board members, I mean, that's the thing. One member of the Board of Supervisors is not going to be able to change anything. It takes a majority of the board to make that difference, and a majority of the board working together. So hopefully the citizens will take a good hard look at what has been accomplished, and will give consideration to sending me back to the board for another 4 years, and we can continue to make progress.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you.